We start our presentation with Ferrari. Ferrari are of course the 1988 Constructor Champions. Led by Machihila, they are looking to continue that form into 1989. With the Ferrari engine reported to produce about 660 horsepower, they'll look to have a solid platform to back up their performance areas. The tires for Ferrari will be provided by Pirelli, an Italian corporation trying to achieve success, no doubt. AGIP will continue to be the main financial contributor for Ferrari. On the driver side of things, Emerson Fittipaldi has returned to Ferrari for another year. The 43-year-old Brazilian is keen for more success with the Scuderia, even after there were rumors of his retirement in the off-season. Fittipaldi will be looking to lead the team to glory once more and perhaps take another shot at the Drivers' Championship after closely losing out to Prost in '88. Mauricio Gugelmin did not secure a seat for 1988, but he has found himself joining his fellow Brazilian in the Red Horse. The 26-year-old was linked to an F1 seat as early as 1986, but fellow countryman Ayrton Senna ended up taking the seat. Let's see if he's ready for the big show after stepping up from F3000. Completing the Brazilian trifecta will be Hilde Ferran. The French-born Brazilian driver with a meager age of 22 has spent recent years in the Formula Ford and Formula 3 category, and got his first taste of F1 machinery last year as a reserve and test driver for Toro. Ferran is an unproven addition to the team, but age is on his side, and this seat will surely help his development. McLaren returned with Pedro Diaz leading the charge. The British outfit has the Drivers' World Champion on their side, and narrowly missed out on the Constructors' title last season. McLaren have secured a deal with Ford as an engine supplier after talks with Honda broke down early on. Time will tell if the power platform can deliver for them. McLaren will have their tires supplied by Goodyear, and Marlboro will be the main sponsor contributing to the recognizable red and white livery. Prost re-signing was in little doubt after securing the 1988 Drivers' Championship. The 34-year-old Frenchman will be looking to defend his title for '89. The now three-time world champion has all the experience to lead the team from the front. Yannick Dalmas is expected to take the second seat for the season. The 28-year-old Frenchman will make it a duo. 2 years of experience with LaRouche should help him get accustomed to the far superior McLaren in no time. Dalmas also brings in an interesting financial bonus, with Esso being his partner for his campaign. Danny Sullivan has been relegated to the reserve role, as a 39-year-old American only managed to finish 1 out of the 8 races he competed in last season. Many are questioning if his move to F1 was the right decision. Minardi is back for 1989 with Martijn de Knecht at the helm. The Italians finishing up in a surprising third last season, with many pointing towards the highly powered Osella being the biggest factor in that. Minardi had a last-moment switch to Ford instead of Renault for this season. It seems the deal with the French manufacturer broke down at the last moment, causing the switch. After the highs of 1988 with the really powerful Osella engine, the switch to Ford seems like a step down for the Italians. We will see in time how this change pans out. The main talking point of the team comes in form of the new main sponsor, Pepsi, the soda brand going all in with shows in the red, white and blue livery, making it one of 3 cars on the grid sponsored by a soda brand. Ross Cheever will no doubt be the main man at Minardi for the foreseeable future. The 25-year-old American has been heavily invested in by the Italian outfit, and it showed in his '88 performances, managing to finish 8th in the Drivers' Championship in only 7 races. Pierluigi Martini is the second signing for Minardi. The 28-year-old Italian returns to Minardi after a single season with them in '85. Over the past years, Martini has spent most of his time in Formula 3000, finishing 4th in the championship last year. We don't expect anything extraordinary from Martini, but let's see if we can be proven wrong. Gabriele Tarquini will be the final driver for Minardi. The 27-year-old Italian spent last year with Coloni, who failed to qualify for a single race. This contract is his way back into the sport, and he will surely try to make the most out of it. French team of Ligier comes into 1989 after finishing 4th last year, only 3 points behind Minardi. Justin Dijkstra returns alongside the team. They will be running the Ford engine and combining that with Goodyear tires. The team will still be sponsored by Gitanes, and in Ligier fashion, the team has elected to run a livery representing the French flag. Riccardo Patrese lands a spot with the French outfit after surprisingly missing out on a seat in 1988. The 35-year-old Italian has plenty of experience with 10 years in Formula 1, and was linked for a move to Williams after his replacement drive in 1987 for the injured Nigel Mansell. Hopefully this move to Ligier can revitalize his career and propel him to new heights. Ligier chose to retain the 20-year-old Finn, Mika Hakkinen. Currently the youngest driver on the grid, Hakkinen is surely wanting to prove himself to the masses. With a handful of podiums last year, he already showed the potential he has. If Ligier keep investing in the Finn, he might be one of the most exciting prospects to come. Arie Luijendijk rounds out the trio. The 36-year-old Dutchman is expected to fill the reserve and testing role for the team, so he can continue his endeavors in the Kart World Series. With mixed results in kart, Luijendijk isn't expected to be a standout performer, and we will only expect to see him in the car should issues arise for one of the other two drivers. Lotus had a disappointing 1988 season, with everything pointing towards them being able to secure a championship. Delayed upgrades and a change of manager were the main downfall last season, causing them to end up 5th in the Constructors. Manager, Kovacs Levente, tried to pick up the pieces that his predecessor left behind. For '89, Levente has secured a deal with Ferrari to supply the engine for the Lotus team, which again should put them in a strong position for this season. But as opposed to Ferrari, Lotus decided to go with the American tire supplier in Goodyear as opposed to Pirelli. Lotus have also found an interesting sponsorship with the growing tech company Apple. The car sporting an interesting rainbow-like design similar to the logo of Apple itself, and with that comes the removal of the partnership and the striking yellow camel livery that Lotus ran for '87 and '88. The 29-year-old Brazilian Ayrton Senna is still the leading factor at Lotus, and after a disappointing season in '88, where many believed that Lotus had the package to take both the team and Senna to the World Championship, they fell short in the reliability department. Senna is one of the most promising talents in the sport. Being compared to the likes of Prost and Piquet, one would hope that Lotus can provide a package for him to fight at the front this year. A tough task for fellow countrymen, 26-year-old Roberto Moreno. Spending 1988 with Arrows, Moreno showed decent pace for points and podium positions, but was also mostly let down in the reliability department. Let's see if he can match his teammates for pace or be a close second. The 41-year-old Arnoux is expected to be the reserve driver for Lotus. As experienced as Arnoux is, his '88 season was atrocious compared to his teammate at the time, Nelson Piquet. Unfortunately, it seems age has caught up to the Frenchman, and it seems very unlikely he will ever reach the levels of his 1983 season with Ferrari again. BMW enters Formula 1 with a mission to rise to the top. After providing engines for most of the decade, the German outfit has now decided to enter their own team after pulling official support of their engines in 1988. Harold will be trying to lead BMW to glory after a failed campaign at Williams. The BMW engine is reported to be slightly underpowered, but has a lot of developing potential. With Williams also running the platform, BMW will surely be able to gather much needed information for their platform in the coming years. The Germans have elected to run the Pirelli tires. The main sponsors for BMW will be Siemens, a well-known German electrotechnical company. Livery-wise, the German outfit will be running a largely white design with a narrow blue and red stripe running down the sides. Bobby Rahal, the 36-year-old American, has an impressive resume, with 2 IndyCar championships in the last 3 years. He looks to carry that momentum into F1. Many question Rahal's decision and are skeptical if he can carry the same performance over into the European Series. Let's see if he can prove the doubters wrong. Another champion joins BMW for 1989. With 3 championships under his belt, Rick Mears is a kart veteran and has been drawn into the Formula 1 allure with the BMW banner. The 38-year-old American finished 4th in IndyCar last year, but it is unsure if he will be taking the racing seat or make way as a reserve and test driver for the Italian Fabi. 34-year-old Teo Fabi has had a reasonable season at Ferrari last year, but he was severely outperformed by teammate Emerson Fittipaldi. He looks to start fresh with BMW, and will be looking to prove himself during pre-season testing to secure that race seat. There's no massive expectations for the Italian, but he could toss up a surprise here or there. Benetton had a disappointing season in '88, but they also suffered from underdevelopment and a manager change throughout. Rackster will be leading the team after taking over mid-season in '88. Improvements were noticeable under their short command, and they will surely be looking to carry that momentum into '89. A surprising engine platform for Benetton, as they will be using the Ilmor Haas. Ilmor, known for providing engines in the IndyCar series, have struck a financial accord with Gene Haas. The engine is reported to be underpowered, and no team except for Benetton dared to touch it. Benetton now has an exclusive platform to test and experiment with, and it is also reported they will receive a part of the funds generated over the coming years, should the platform prove successful. Goodyear will be the tire compound of choice for Benetton. They also have another creative livery advertising for one of their campaigns, and 7-Up is still a large part of the team's paint shop, featuring mainly on the rear wing. 37-year-old Piquet re-signed for Benetton. The 3-time world champion seems keen for the Benetton Ilmor Haas to succeed. An unsuccessful season in '88 saw Piquet end up in 11th in the driver's standings. If anyone can bring victories to Benetton, you'd expect the Brazilian to do it. After the horror crash in '88, the Briton 25-year-old Johnny Herbert returns to racing in the highest class. The former British Formula 3 champion is looking to recover with Benetton. He won't be the only one in contention for the second seat though. Jyrki Järveletto, JJ Leto for short, the 23-year-old Finn has proven himself in junior categories, winning the British Formula 3 championship last year and a handful of Formula 4 championships before that. Protege of former champion Keke Rosberg, Leto has some expectations coming into F1. Time will tell if he can hold up in the most competitive of series. Tyrrell had a perfectly average 1988 season under lead of Domi, and saw them finishing 8th in the constructors' standings. Coming into '89, Domi will remain in charge and is looking to improve over last season. They have found an interesting engine deal with Renault after some negotiations with Minardi, who were originally in talks with Renault. Renault stopped supplying engines after '86, but with the turbocharged engines coming to an end, they have now decided to provide a new platform. The engine is reported to be fairly competitive compared to the likes of Honda and Ferrari. Tyrrell have gone for a familiar lineup with Michael Andretti as the first signing. Andretti managed to put up a respectable 1988 season with several point finishes and even a podium. The 27-year-old American is still relatively young, and Tyrrell have surely seen talent in him. Let's hope he can improve on previous year. For the second signing, there's another familiar face in Al Unser Jr. Also 27-year-old, an American, Domi seems to be keen on building the team with American talent. Unser was outperformed by his teammate last season, but with some luck, Unser Jr. could have finished higher than 18th in the standings. He will also be hoping to improve for this season. The third signing, and the most likely to fit into the reserve and test driver role for Tyrrell, is the 31-year-old Frenchman, Olivier Grouillard. Grouillard has had a good season in International Formula 3000 last year, with a second place finish. Grouillard has shown potential over the past few years, but many believe F1 is a step too high for him. Zaxby did surprisingly well last season, finishing up in 9th under the management of Edison. Another surprise was the fact that out of all teams, Zaxby managed to secure an engine deal with Honda, which we imagine will shoot them right up the grid order. Honda is reported to outperform the competitors in all areas by quite a margin, so Zaxbyt is expected to perform really well. Not only have Zaxbyt secured an incredible engine deal, they have also managed to sign a cracking driving lineup. Before we get to the drivers, Zaxbyt will be running the Pirelli tires. As far as sponsors go, the German outfit will support the same red and white West livery, similar to the one from last season. First signing for Zaxbyt is John Nielsen. The 33-year-old Dane finished second in the GTP class in the IMSA Camel Championship and took a win at the 24 Hours of Daytona. He also features several championship titles in German Formula 3 and the Volkswagen Castrol Europa Cup. He is in good form, and that saw him land a seat in F1. Jan Lammers also moves over from endurance racing into F1. Dutchman, aged 33, won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in '88 and seems to be in splendid form. After proving his versatility over multiple series including IndyCars, the World Sports Car Championship, and F3, Lammers will now add F1 to the tally. The third driver, likely to fit into the reserve and test driver role, will be Alex Caffi. Previously doing the same for Ferrari, the 25-year-old Italian spent 3 years in Italian Formula 3, where he had good success. He is still pointed towards as a promising prospect, but that hasn't seen him land a primary seat for 88 or 89. In 86 and 87, Caffi was on the Asella team, which proved very uncompetitive and hampered him to show his true potential. Eurobrunn is the second new entry this year under lead of Cozy. Eurobrunn has been active since 1988 but failed to qualify for a single Grand Prix, but have now believed to have brought a competitive package to compete for the top 11. The Itali-Swiss outfit will be running the Ford engine, and along with it, the Goodyear tires. Eurobrunn will have a striking orange livery because of their main sponsors, Jägermeister. It is a paint scheme we have seen on many of their sports cars. The first signing for Eurobrunn comes in the form of Eddie Lawson. The 31-year-old American has the triple FIM 500cc road racing champion crown, with his last one only last year. Lawson now made the decision to switch over to F1. Many are questioning this move since he has had so much success in the motorcycling world. Lawson seems eager to prove that he is as fast on 4 wheels as he is on 2. 36-year-old Satoru Nakajima is the second signing for Eurobrunn. Japaneseman spent last year with Lotus and managed only 12th in the driver's standings. It must be said that a lot of his season was hampered by reliability issues, only finishing 6 out of 16 races. Nakajima is now looking for a fresh start with a new outfit. The third signing for Eurobrunn is Nigel Mansell. After a disappointing season last year where the 36-year-old Briton finished 16th in the Drivers' Championship, many questioned whether Mansell has it in him to continue at the highest level. The 1989 season could be one of the last chances he gets to prove himself. Williams are coming off a horrible season in 1988 where they finished dead last. With the departure of previous manager Arnold, a position needed to be filled. Sebastian Erdmann has taken up those responsibilities and is looking to get Williams back to the top spot. Williams will still be recognizable by their white, blue and yellow livery. The only significant change there will be the change of the engine manufacturer to BMW. The BMW engine is a bit of an unknown, but with the past experience they will surely be able to provide a solid platform to work with. Early reports state that the engine has slightly less output than the Ford, but with some development it shouldn't be impossible to overcome that deficit. The British outfit will be running the Goodyear tires. The first signing, or re-signing rather, is Jeff Lees. 30-year-old Briton has proved himself last year by scoring points twice in very poor machinery, which has Erdmann believe he is up to the task for this season in a more competitive package. Let's hope for Lees that he gets the platform he needs to perform well. The second signing is also a Briton. Martin Brundle, the 30-year-old, has proven himself worthy of an F1 seat earlier in his career, but has been unfortunate being in mostly uncompetitive machinery. In '88, he was benched by March and stuck in the reserve and test driver role. This, however, allowed him to race in the World Sports Car Championship, where he took the title in the prototype class. This season might be Brundle's best chance to be competitive in F1. The last signing for Williams will be the 30-year-old Austrian, Gerhard Berger. After fairly successful years in '86 with Benetton and in '87 with Ferrari, where he was unlucky with reliability, the Austrian has shown himself talented in the past. But for 1988, that wasn't enough, as he got put on the sideline with Benetton in the test and reserve driver role. Hopefully, he can revitalize his career with Williams.